All right. So first, before we go do anything on the computer, I'm going to ask you some preliminary questions. So
All right.
this is just recording, so I have the audio of it. What do you do for a living? What is your day-to-day?
So I am a student at UNC studying both environmental science and video journalism.
So what do you do on a day-to-day basis?
On a day-to-day basis, I usually wake up around 9, 10 a.m. in the morning, have classes, occasionally do a photo or video shoot for different journalism-focused projects. I usually try and work out at least like several times a week, so I might work out in a day, and I usually go to bed around, depending on the night, probably around like midnight.
Great. So roughly, how many hours a week altogether, a ballpark estimate, would you say that you spend using the internet, including web browsing and email at work and at home?
Probably like between, my guess would be upwards of like 15 to 20 hours.
Okay.
That's probably like,
And between checking emails, writing emails, and web browsing, what would you say the split is percentage-wise?
wait, sorry, can I hear the options again?
Sure. So between email and web browsing, so
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
like opening a browser and going to different
Got
websites, what's a split percentage that you'd say? in
I would say
terms of that time?
probably 10% email. But I would say like maybe 20% email. We'll say 20% email.
80% browsing.
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of things online do you typically prefer to do on your phone versus on your laptop?
On my phone, I like to read a lot of news. So usually if I'm looking up something that is like written out in text, like I'll pull it up on my phone, I'll read it on the go. For computers, I generally like to watch video content there. So if I'm watching a short doc or if I'm watching like The Daily Show, I prefer to use larger screens.
Gotcha. Cool. And what kind of sites are you looking at when you browse the web?
When I browse the web, I'll look at news sites like the New York Times. I'll pull up YouTube. I'll look at meme websites sometimes. Social media, specifically Facebook. Let's see. I watch a lot of short docs on Vimeo, so I'll watch. That's one that I frequent as well.
Cool. And would you say you have any favorite websites? If they are your favorite, why are they your favorite?
Hmm. I think one of my favorite websites. I think my one that I value the most is Vimeo, and it's specifically related to content. I get a lot of inspiration for my work from like watching videos on there, and I feel like I learn a lot like when I'm on Vimeo, and that's why I spend a lot of time on there. That's one of my favorites.
What about the way that content is presented matters on Vimeo, would you say?
When I pull up Vimeo, immediately I have a feed of videos from people that I follow, from sources like news outlets, from independent filmmakers. Vimeo also has this feature called Staff Picks, where they will go through and the staff at Vimeo will select videos worth watching, and that can be everything from like animated short films to more documentary style pieces, and it just like immediately pulls up like a list of content that I'd like to see, and it's like all right there.
Gotcha. What are some things that you dislike about websites in general from a usability standpoint?
Hmm. Hmm. From a usability standpoint,
Can I give you an example of an answer to
Yeah.
help you out? So some people might say that they don't like it when videos play automatically or that they scroll with you or
Yeah.
that the navigation bar collapses when it's not being used.
got it. I think one feature that I like to have is like the I'm not sure what it's called. It's on the side of the page and it shows you generally where you are. Um, I'm not sure what it's called. Like you know what I'm talking about, right? Like when you're scrolling down on a page, you
Yeah.
have like a little bar that will like show you generally where you are on the page.
Yes.
And it also allows for like quick navigation, like up and down. Like that's a feature that I really like.
Okay.
And
But what do you dislike?
I dislike it when it's not there.
I see.
Because it's hard for me to gauge like where I am on the page, like how much longer I have,
Okay.
how deep I am. So that's I would say like I dislike it when that's not there.
Gotcha. Cool. What's something you like websites to have, but they often don't, other than that scrolly bar?
Hmm. Hmm. Trying to think. You're making me think a lot about things that I don't usually think about on a day-to-day basis. um, hmm. I think like for me, especially for um, let's see, I like when I pull up websites on my phone. One thing that like I really like to see is like that adaptability, um, and the ease of switching across platforms. So I think like that's like a feature that I like to see on a lot of websites, but it's not on all of them.
So when websites display information in a way that's user friendly on a phone,
Yeah,
but not trying to kind of recreate the laptop sort of feel. Does that make
yeah.
sense?
I guess like having a website that adapts to the viewer's medium or like the medium that's being viewed through.
Yeah, and you'd say that doesn't happen in a lot of websites you use
Um,
sometimes.
yeah, yeah. It doesn't happen all the time.
Okay. When you're looking for information on a website, what techniques do you use to find information?
Well, one that I use the most is just like Command F. If I generally know like a topic that I'm looking for, and if it's a lot of information, I'll do Command F and try and type in like different keywords. Um, also, I usually like, but other than that, like in terms of like interacting with the design, I'll usually look first to like the nav bar and try and reason out like which which menu option might get me close to like where I want to go, if it's not apparent already.
Okay. How long do you typically search for something on a new site before you give up?
Hmm. I'd say like it depends. Um, if I'm if I really want to see it, if I really want to find it, I'll usually spend like maybe like five to like maybe around like 5 minutes looking for it. Potentially longer, but maybe like 5 to 10 minutes. But if I'm not super, uh, if I don't care about it that much, I'll maybe spend like 10 seconds.
Okay. Great. So now that we're done with those questions, we can start looking at things on the page. So what I'm going to do is start a new recording. Okay. So please go to Google.
Yep.
So we're done with questions, so we can actually start looking at the website. So I'd like you to navigate on the URL to med.stanford.
Oh, it's right there.
Great. Maybe it is. That's not the one I want you to go to.
Oh.
med.stanford.edu
Mm-hmm.
/spectrum, SPECTRUM. Great. So first, task 1. I'm going to give you 5 minutes to freely explore the site. You may go anywhere you'd like on the site, but remember to speak out loud as you do so. I'll tell you when your 5 minutes is up. So tell me what you see, what you're inferring, what you're understanding about the site.
Okay. So my eyes are pretty quickly like first drawn to this image that's across the top of the screen. Um, I immediately understand that like this is a site talking about like health and science and information. Uh, my eyes are also drawn to the text that's right there, and then like after that, kind of like coming down the screen a little bit. Um, it might be it might be like the size of this display, but it seems like the text is like a little small
Okay.
compared to like the banner image. Like the banner image text is like fine. Like I would say like maybe this could potentially even be bigger and like I'll be happy with it just because it like there's a lot of space right there.
Mhm.
Um, uh, and I'm like while my eyes are drawn to this text, I'm not compelled to go through all of it and read it just because it seems like it's kind of small and there's kind of like a lot of like small stuff there.
So its size indicates something to you about its significance.
Yeah, and also like the amount of it as well, I guess. Like yeah, I guess like this like yeah. Um it seems like it's like just over the amount that I want to read on like the opening page. And it's small.
Interesting. Okay.
I don't know. Like I guess this side I don't know. Like if it was just like this line like that line with that size, I think like I'll read it, and especially because it's bold, like it stands out to me. But I think like as I start to get on like to these like later lines, like I don't know, uh, does it? I don't feel like super compelled to like go in and okay, that's interesting.
What's interesting?
So just looking at how like the menu kind of like pops down
Mhm.
and covers up the banner image. So right now I am exploring these different options, partially because like I'm not super familiar with this field, and so with some of these I'm not entirely sure like what would necessarily be underfunding. So right now I'm just kind of scrolling over and reading the different options there.
Okay.
I think it's interesting to have both quick links as well as other links over here. For me, as like a user who is coming to the site for the first time, I personally think that like it would just make sense to have like one set of links here rather than trying to like have both of these listed out.
Do you see how? Do you see a clear difference between the links on the left and the links on the right?
Let's see. So yeah. So I mean, like to me, like I think like I understand that these links are to resources that probably a regular user of the site would want to access like very quickly, and these like just looking at this, I get the sense that these resources are probably used like very frequently, and they want to make sure that these links are up front.
Okay.
Um,
So it's not clear that the links on the right are to external pages outside of the Spectrum site.
oh, okay, yeah, it's not immediately clear. It's not immediately clear to me that these are like at first glance I thought that like these might be like part of the website. I didn't realize that these would take me to another page. Let me click on one. Interesting. I think that to me it feels a little odd to have so many links to other web pages and other organizational web pages in the main menu for this website.
Gotcha.
Like to me, I like that doesn't feel very intuitive to me.
Okay.
And I think it pulls me away. And even if I'm a regular user of this site, like to me it just it feels a little odd to have that there. But let me just click on one of these. Okay, I think that I didn't know necessarily what that arrow would do. I kind of took a guess on it, and it's that I think that's intuitive. I kind of like that.
Great. So that's actually all the time we have for the first task. So if you
Okay.
can navigate back to the homepage. So unfortunately, you've
Oh.
got to figure out how to go
Okay.
back a different way.
Okay. I think that's also.
You could also try clicking
This
see the
back.
part where it says, yeah, that works too. Great. Task 2. Imagine you are a faculty researcher seeking sources of funding for a clinical trial for a drug you're researching. You want to learn about projects that had successfully earned funding in years past. Navigate to where you'd find this information. Talking through your decision, you may click to other pages. When you've completed this task, let me know.
Okay, so I want to find. Let's see. Got it. So I want to find other successful projects from the past.
That's correct.
So my eyes are first drawn to the top menu.
Okay.
And I'm trying to reason through which of the options would get me closest to that.
Remember again that you're seeking sources of funding for a clinical trial.
Oh, so got it. Let's see.
And you want, so
Got it. So yeah. So it would obviously be under funding. Let's see. I don't want to learn about projects that. Okay, so I would come right here because I'm searching for something related to funding. I come to the funding tab, which seems pretty intuitive, and then I'm trying to look for successful projects in the past. So I would go to grant awardees because those are people who have received funding previously, and I come to this page.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So you're there because everything else is password protected. So yeah, you completed the task.
Okay.
Great, thank you. Task 3. Without using the search bar or leaving the site, consider where you might find information regarding an intensive course in clinical research. When you feel you've completed the task, let me know.
Okay. So I'm looking for a course, information regarding a course.
Yes.
So since I'm looking for information regarding a course, I'm going to come to education and training because that feels intuitive. And I'm currently reading through the options, and then there it is right there. And I believe I've completed that.
Yes. Yep, you've got it. So again, kind of you're using the menu to navigate straight to where you think, kind of based on the category, essentially, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now, task 4, imagine you're a tenured professor interested in doing a research study at Stanford. You cannot remember exactly what the regulations are for this type of study you're doing. Using the website, look for an answer to solve this issue. When you feel like you've completed the task, let me know.
Okay. So since I'm looking for information to help me figure out a dilemma with my research, I'm going to come to research and resources.
Okay.
That feels intuitive to me. And then right underneath that, there's a tab that says regulations, policies, and resources. If I'm looking into regulations regarding my subject, this feels like an intuitive place to go. And here's that information.
What do you think about the way that, so you've got it, but I'm curious to know now what you think about the way that the regulations, policies, and resources are presented to you here. Does it make sense the way that they've broken them up into categories and sections?
Let me read this for just a second. I think for the most part, like, it makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it makes sense to me. Like, I can come through here and read different. I can come and find like the specific topic that I'm interested in. There are links right there.
All right.
I think it's helpful.
Could you imagine that information being presented in a more user-friendly way?
I think so. Yeah, I think that like having it in this table format. I'm trying to put my finger on it.
It's almost like a catalog.
Yeah, it's almost like a catalog, and it's also just like a lot too. Like I would really have to want to find this resource. I feel like just because there's so many little boxes that I'd have to read through. I think putting it in the tables makes it difficult to skim through the information. And also segregating it out by these like banners that are like solid colors, also just make it like not skimming friendly. They make it like you have to put in more effort, I think,
Okay.
because of that.
Great. So we'll go into task 5. You're a member of a research team. Your team wants to apply for funding to cover its study on AIDS prevention and treatment. You want to know what funding program your team could apply for or should apply for, and what materials your team should submit for the application. Please use the website to find the information you need, and when you feel you've completed the task, let me know that you have.
Got it. I'm just skimming again. Got it. So since I'm looking for funding for my project, I'm going to come to the funding tab. And then it appears that the program that I would apply for funding is this Innovation Accelerator Pilot Program. It appears that assumption was correct. And here it appears that there is information about the grant.
And what materials should your team submit for the application?
Let's see. I'm looking for that. Let's see. Let's see. I'm assuming. Let's see. Areas of research funding. Let's see. Request for proposal. Oh, here we go. Here are the application instructions. Got it. So I assume this is the information that I'm looking for in terms of, yeah.
Great. Yep. So it's a little bit further down on the page, kind of how it describes the application instructions. Can you scroll up to the top?
Yeah.
And see the quick link where it says application requirements and awardee policies.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
Can you click that? Just want to see where it takes us. Okay, so that takes us to an external page, so we can go ahead and close that. So that where you navigated to is one place you could look at for research funding. What do you think about where the application requirements are?
I definitely think it's pushed way down on the page. I think that with the way that this page is structured, any of the information that's further down, like further than halfway down, it's kind of like it's kind of like hard to look for.
Totally.
There's also just like a lot of text to digest too before getting there.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think it like having this like long page kind of makes it a little more difficult to like find that information.
Great. Thanks for sharing that. So because the 15-minute time limit is set, we're going to pause this here. Scenario 6. You're a junior faculty working in the Department of Pediatrics. You heard of a helpful mentor program that will help with the academic enrichment. You want to attend its workshops and learn more about this program. Find out about what workshops are available.
Excellent.
When you feel like you've completed the task, let me know.
So since this is something dealing with education, I'm going to come immediately to the education and training tab. I'm looking for workshop information. Let me just make sure. Let's see. I understand this task. Or pediatrics. Okay. I'm going to come to training list first. It took me a second to try and figure out like where that. Okay, here we go. This looks like it's the right information, but it took me a second to like figure out where I might find that information.
Okay.
So wait, I get like, let's see, I'm looking for more about the program. Is this the page that you were thinking of like me getting to, or
Keep scrolling down.
let's see, or pediatric, let's see.
You see anything that says pediatric?
Child health care. Mentoring workshop. Here we go. Read more. As a side note, I think it's interesting that this page like I don't know if that should. I guess it is a separate page for like a separate entity, so it makes sense to be a separate tab. Mentors, workshops. Okay, so here's that information.
Right. So you found the page that has the information about the workshops for people learning about kind of getting involved in pediatric care. What do you think about the fact that it links to an external page?
I think.
Because technically, I guess the
Yeah.
the mentorship program is part of the the Child Health Research Institute rather
Yeah.
than Spectrum. But Spectrum is kind of a clearinghouse for workshops and mentorship programs for people doing clinical trials and research.
Got it. I mean, I guess it like when I think about it logically, it makes sense, but intuitively, like it doesn't make sense, and it feels like the Spectrum website is just a bunch of links. It's like a collection of links to other web pages that are important. It doesn't feel like itself. It doesn't feel like the Spectrum website in and of itself, like I don't know, contains much. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that does make sense. Okay, can you navigate back to the Spectrum homepage? Task 7, you're a clinical research trial coordinator at Spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
You are in charge of scheduling patients for a study that determines the effect of a drug on human lung health. Part of your responsibilities include ethically onboarding the patient. Your principal investigator told you that before the trial begins, you need to become familiar with the informed consent process. She tells you that there are monthly trainings organized by Spectrum. You need to go to one before July 1st. Navigate to where you'd find this information, talking through your decision. You may click to other pages, say out loud the times and dates of these trainings from now until July 1st.
Great. So I'm going to immediately come to the education training tab and then the training list.
Okay.
Because to like just see like the total, like all the listed offerings for courses. Sure. Now I'm looking for a course dealing with the informed consent process.
All right. And do you see anything on that page that says that?
Informed consent process right here. Register through this website. I'm assuming it's not totally clear to me what this is going to do, but I'm going to click on it because I think it might take me. Oh, okay.
Okay, so that takes you to that, which is kind of like we can't really avoid that whole process, but there is a way that you don't need to log in that you can find out where the where the informed consent process is, but it is not on this page.
Okay, got it. So now, since that link didn't work, I'm going to go to this one. Okay. Classes are, let's see this. Okay, here's a calendar. So I'm going to click on this calendar to figure out when the dates are. And I'm looking, and I have to list out all the dates between now and
July 1st.
July 1st. Let's see.
Do you see the first training?
Let's see. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so March 6th.
Okay. When is the next one? I need you to not use the command.
Okay. All right.
But now you already know it's you're gonna have to influence this page now to see some larger set of information.
Yeah, I think like there's just a lot of information on this calendar.
Okay.
And like processing through it and like trying to find the specific events is a bit of a chore.
Okay. How can you influence the calendar to try to help you find more information?
I'm gonna try. Let's see. I'm gonna try and click on this and let's see. Okay, that. Okay, let's see. Oh, here we go. Okay, I just realized that was there. So there's one on May 1st. One on June 5th. There's one on let's see, yeah, July 3rd, which is
Okay.
after. Yeah.
Is there one in April?
Let's see. Yes, there's one on April 3rd.
Okay, so you missed that one the first time.
I think so, yeah.
All right. So a couple questions kind of following up on the calendar of training and events. What did you think about the fact that your first intuition was that education and training was going to be where you were going to find information about the informed consent process trainings? What did you think about kind of not finding it there and then having to go through a few more links?
Yeah, I just think that it just seems like information on this website is structured in a way where if you want to find information about one thing, you often have to go to several different pages to get there and get the full picture. And it's not consolidated. And sometimes information for a bunch of different things is kind of chucked all together and mixed in, and this I think is a case in point.
You also seem overwhelmed then kind of once you got to the calendar section that the kind of the month default there was not the best.
Yeah, the month default was a little weird. It took me a second to realize that I could change the viewing option on the calendar, and it took me a second to realize that that would actually improve my chances of finding the information that I wanted.
Gotcha. Great.
Yeah.
All right, that's exactly what I wanted to find out about. So 3 more tasks. Task 8, you've recently been hired as Vice Chancellor of Innovation at Stanford. You're invited to have lunch with principal investigators at Spectrum who share their inventions with you. One that stands out is a tear duct stimulator. Excited to share this invention with your colleagues who work in neurobiology. You are excited to share that invention with colleagues who work in neurobiology, so navigate to where you'd find more information about the tear duct stimulator.
Okay. So right now I'm trying to figure out I'm looking at the menu at the top and I'm trying to figure out which option might give me the best chance at finding that study.
Okay. So remember, it's not a study, but rather it's an invention that someone at Spectrum made.
Got it. It's an invention. So I don't. After kind of a cursory search through up here, I think I might have to scroll down a little further to find it.
Okay.
Right now I'm reading through the different, these options right here.
So for the sake of time,
Yeah.
I'll tell you that it's not on the homepage, but navigate to the About Us page.
Oh. Okay.
Just click on that top bar.
Okay, About Us. Just click that. Okay.
And then tell me from where here you would find it.
So from here, it feel like it'll be under success stories if it's an invention that they already made that they're putting, and sure enough, it's right there. It's the first one. So I click on it, and there we go. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's it.
You got it. What do you think about the fact that stories about the successes of Spectrum are in a level 3 link with the photo?
I think that to me feels like information that you would want to display prominently, and I think it's weird to have it so far away from the main page of the site. I also intuitively when I think of about an About Us page or About Us information, I think of generic, this is our mission, this is who we are, maybe a staff page, but I don't usually think of success stories being under there. To me doesn't fit.
Not in the same category.
Yeah.
Okay.
Intuitively that doesn't fit for me.
Gotcha. All right, great. So can you navigate back to the homepage? Are we getting close to 15? Bottom left?
It's 11.
All right, yeah, we have enough time to do this next one.
We'll see, depending on.
I have faith in you.
Okay.
Task 9. You're an undergraduate junior and study biology. Your friend got into Stanford's master's program in laboratory animal science. You've recently become interested in applying for the same program. You want to know how to apply and when the next admissions deadline is. Navigate to where you might find this information. Verbalizing your thoughts and decisions. I will note that this is not on the Spectrum page,
Okay.
but you can navigate there directly in a few different ways from this page.
So I'm looking to apply to a master's program.
You want to know how to apply to the master's program in laboratory animal science.
Okay. So looking around here, I don't see anything that immediately draws me in. So I'm kind of drawn to this up here. Oh, there we go. Let's see. I'm assuming it's the master's programs. Let me click that, and then it was. Let's see. I'm rereading the task to make sure I get this right.
Yep.
Laboratory and animal science. Let's see. Master's programs. Okay, here we go. Laboratory animal science. Learn about this. That's what I want to do. Okay, degree requirements. That's interesting. Central links. How to apply. There we go. Took me a second to find it. Let's see. There we go. Let's see. Did I complete the task?
Yeah. So.
Wait. I need to figure out the next deadline. Admissions deadline. Reviewed on a rolling deadline. Okay. So it sounds like there's not necessarily a hard deadline. It's just rolling. I can apply whenever, and
Correct.
I can contact this person.
All right. Great. Yep. You've got that correct. Awesome. So it's unique because there are three. From what I know, there are 3 different ways to get there, and I never ever noticed that black bar at the top.
It's pretty small.
It's pretty small, but that's what you use to get there. You clicked on education, so that I guess seems like is a universal like Stanford medicine header bar that lets you get anywhere on the Stanford medicine web or like kind of web sphere.
Mm-hmm.
Using that bar. So what do you think about that bar and why did you use it to get there?
I like after looking through like the menus of the website, I didn't see anything relating to education programs.
Okay.
And so my eyes kind of started to wander and I noticed that bar at the top. I did not notice that bar when I initially came to the site. I think it's really small and out of the way and really easy to overlook. I think if you're talking about having a way to get between multiple sites, like that's a nice way to make it a little more uniform, but it's like not very noticeable.
Agreed. Thank you very much. Look at that, right up. All right. So after gathering data for your clinical trial, you're having trouble figuring out how to make a convincing argument with that data. Bringing up this issue with your co-investigators, one mentions that she thinks Stanford offered some sort of biostatistics help program. Navigate to where you think you could find more help with biostatistics. Talk through your decisions. Let me know when you've...
Okay, so I'm assuming it's going to be under education and training, and I'm going to come to training list to see if I can find the biostatistics help program. Oh, maybe it's not here. Let's see. Biostatistics help program. I'm sure this is painful for you, Brian.
It's okay. I didn't make this website.
Yeah. Let's see. So let me come back up here. Let's see. Oh, maybe it's here. Quality improvement. Maybe. And I took a guess there because I was wondering if like maybe there was maybe quality improvement involved data. Or, let's see.
So biostatistics consulting, looking at all the menu items,
Oh, here we go. Okay, it's under researcher resources.
Okay.
Looking back on it, that makes sense. It makes sense that it's under there. But
You're on the right page. So, what's interesting to me is Nicholas found that immediately.
yeah,
He was just, it's a researcher resource down to biostatistics. But the other thing that he mentioned was that he found that so quickly because he remembered seeing biostatistics consultation under researcher resources.
oh, interesting. Okay.
Like when he was searching for something previously.
Yeah.
But I totally see how you did what you did made sense, right? Like maybe this is technically education and training, or maybe this is like clinical research quality. But in fact, it's like just a researcher resource, and that's where they fit it under there.
Yeah.
Even though you could kind of construe it in all three of those categories. So I designed that to like point out the weakness of the menu system as it exists.
Yeah, there are a lot of weaknesses in this menu, I feel like. And just the way information is structured, I feel like it's so disjointed and like you really have to work. You really have to want this stuff together, I feel like.
Yeah, no kidding. So thank you very much for your help and your contributions. Do you have any questions for me as we kind of are at the end of this?
I do not. Yeah.
Okay, and so I would appreciate if you could fill out a very brief survey.
You want me to stop this?
Please do, thanks.